So, Gaz, I am going to explain to you the differences between Gloomhaven and Gloomhaven Crimson Scales expansion, which I have unboxed, and I have had a very loose look through the contents. And what I was looking forward to was explaining to you some of the differences from Gloomhaven to Crimson Scales and how it may differ also from Frosthaven. Because in X-Haven, when you click on an enemy or something like that, there's symbols that we've never seen before, and we're always like, what the hell does that mean? What the hell's the extra poison? What's the extra this and that? It all comes down to this. So let me explain some of the changes, and you can give me your thoughts on what they are.
Okay, just quickly,
yes.
how many mistakes do you think we're going to make?
Well, for starters, and I looked into this, I do look into some things sometimes when I think about it. This is the second edition as well that we have. So there was a bunch of errata from the first one that I'm not too sure what they were, but apparently they're quality of life changes and maybe a couple of cards that needed to be edited here and there, but nothing like major. So we've got the second edition, so I know that much.
Okay.
That was the first one. And then, yeah, on the actual page, on the rulebook, it literally just basically says, it's basically Gloomhaven, but here's a list of all the things that are new.
All right, well, that's interesting because we need to unlearn the things that we learned about Frosthaven being new from Gloomhaven, and then we have to unpatch, right? We have to uninstall the expansion, and then we have to apply the patch for the vanilla game. So yeah, this will be interesting. Yeah, cool.
Are we doing this in the worst possible order possible?
Yes, 100%. But okay, I love it. Like, it's the highest chance of us making a lot of mistakes, which is exactly what people watch for.
Super dirty. All right. So the very first thing, all right, one of the first boxes, they talk about alternate monsters. So alternate monsters. And what that just means is when you set up the scenario, there's a little star icon in the setup for some mobs or some monsters on a given thing. Because remember, we are using the standees and everything from Gloomhaven. So use oozes, for example. In this, on a particular scenario, there may be normal oozes. At least I haven't gone through them all, so don't come at me if I'm wrong. But there's like the ooze standee and the star on it, and it's called a blood ooze. And it comes with new ability cards for the oozes. So we've got new ooze type, if that makes sense. Right? Still using the old standees, but who knows what they've done with them. If it's a little tweak or if it's a major one. Same thing with the, we've got a spitting drake here, but it's got a star on it. So now it's a flaming drake. Yeah. And then another one's a forest imp, a little Sustu. It's a toxic imp.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. So they're just examples. I don't know how many they've done.
Okay, and so they have a different ability card deck, or just some extra cards to go into the current deck?
Not 100% sure. I haven't gone through the components, but it says these monsters are alternate versions of existing monsters, which use the stat card and the standee of that type, but have special ability cards. Whatever that means.
Cool. I suppose that's kind of like the imps from Gloomhaven to Frosthaven, right? Like, didn't they standardize that? And because I think a lot of those were in Gloomhaven, but I don't know if they shared a type. Like Frost imps weren't, so they kind of okay, cool. That's exciting. That's awesome. Like, it adds flavor to monsters.
Correct. Yeah. It just means that we're not going, okay, cool. We got living bones in this room. We got slimes. We don't know what we're fighting. We're familiar with the shape and the silhouette, but they could be completely different.
I love it.
All right. Second thing, area of effect. So a lot of and think Banner Spear right now from Frosthaven. Area of effect abilities like your formations has got the hexes. It shows where you need to stand, which is usually an active figure hex, like a grey one. And then you've got the red hexes for what you're targeting. And then the blue hex in Frosthaven, unique to Frosthaven, the blue hex was an ally. Now we have a yellow hex and it says conditional, right? So there's conditional. And then there's also blank hexes. So you got the active figure. So a grey hex indicates the hex that the active figure currently occupies. That's just for doing whatever the attack is you're trying to do. And the red hex is where the enemies are for targeting purposes. But the conditional one, a yellow hex indicates where figures can be located to be affected by the ability. So if you targeted a figure in a red hex of the same area effect, if the area effect had no target in the red hex, you can't trigger the ability affecting the yellow hex. So this is probably going to be unique, similar to a Banner Spear style character that can target a whole bunch of red areas, but then maybe has some yellow ones in there as well. Okay. And maybe the yellow ones are beneficial or maybe they're not. It's just you need to have, there needs to be some kind of targeting thing involved to trigger one or the other.
Yeah, cool. Well, that
Mm,
sounds fun. That sounds, I mean, yeah, linking it to the idea of the banner spear, and there's a couple of cards that I remember, your ally will heal. Like, so you
yeah,
needed your ally there to do the formation, and it
yep,
would do an attack, but then they would heal. So that's what this sounds like, right?
yeah,
But also if it's yellow conditional, then maybe that could also be a monster.
correct.
So there could be positive ones and
It could
negative
be
ones. Yeah.
attack, 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 and then yellow is like a stun or a disarm, or it could be something like that. I have not seen an example of
Yeah,
this.
no, we can speculate, but no, that sounds cool. If it's not like that, they should add that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So far, these guys got some cool ideas. All right, I like this. So there's also a couple of classes that, or maybe multiple classes, I don't know because I'm only looking at this, where they've actually got different type of AMD cards. You know how in Frosthaven when we get our perks, we swap out our AMDs, and they're becoming more and more customized with text on them and symbols that are related to your character, like the symbol for the character I most recently played. I need to have pairs of and things like that, right?
Hmm.
So there's some new AMDs coming through. Just imagine an AMD card, you pull it up, you're a bone shaper or something like that, and you pull it, and it says +1, and then it says +1 and what do you call it, rolling modifier, if the pet is the one doing the attack, not you.
Ah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Right. There's another one where it's you draw a card and it's a +1, pull 3, but it means pull yourself towards the target. And
Oh.
that's as an example. So it's like a reverse pull,
Hmm.
like a hook shot.
Okay.
And then finally, this was really interesting. It's a +0. All right, it's a poison. So you're attacking for a 3. You draw this. It's a +0, but it will poison everything within a formation around it. So the formation's on the AMD. So if you happen to hit it, and there happens to be people in the formation for it, all those things get poisoned. Not attacked, but whatever the status is or
Yeah,
whatever the
okay.
symbol is. There could be a bunch of these. So yeah, they've really expanded on the AMD cards, especially with those. That poison one's the one that excited me because it just means that there are times that you're leaning more into the chaos of the luck.
So are those they were just examples of, or are they all the?
Examples.
Oh, okay, yeah. So some classes will have I guess different AMD cards
Yeah,
with,
they're
yeah,
different attack modifiers. So
that's cool.
Uh, it says there, special effects unique to a class, a reoccurring theme for the upgraded cards in the expansion. The most notable examples are cards with bonuses dependent on if you fulfill a specific condition to apply an additional effect. If you don't fulfill the condition to trigger the bonus, disregard all effects in the middle. So the
Yeah.
+1 will be in the
Cool.
middle, and then there's the one on the side as well.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome. I love the idea of that, and the AMD always feels like with your character, it's the deck builder crafting element. Like you get to do
Yeah.
your items, you get to pick your level up cards, but there's only two level up cards, so you're kind of picking one or the other. But the
Mm-hmm.
AMD, especially as you go through, feels like, especially early-ish when you not have access to everything, this kind of I can pick and choose what I want to have more of, and having things that rely on you to have certain, I don't know, buffs or negative conditions on the enemy, or be in certain positions, or have done a certain thing, but like further goes into that, you're picking a kind of spec line,
Yeah.
like a specialization, and then your AMD is going to reflect that. So I think
Yeah.
that's really cool.
It's further making it what's the word? There's a lot more asymmetry
Yeah.
in that your class feels more uniquely yours, and it also, I mean, flipping AMDs is probably one of the most exciting parts of the game, like
Mm.
100%. When you're doing an ability, you want to flip that card. That makes it even more exciting. Just to be able to customize it just that little bit further with those juicy cards that are a bit more risk and reward, but you don't have to pick them as you're
Mm.
leveling up. You can pick other things, pick your +1. Let us move on to some of the new conditions.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got some new negative and positive conditions. So the first
Tell
negative
me,
condition, yeah,
tell me what the symbol is. Describe the symbol, and I'll see if I can guess it.
it's like a blue
I have
diamond.
no idea.
Okay, cool. And it's not brutal. It's
I
called
have
chill.
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 Okay. Yep.
So
Yep.
this is pre-brittle. Brittle.
Brittle.
Chill is a negative condition, and we have seen this symbol in X-Haven. When applied to a figure, it causes them to gain a penalty of -1 to all of their attack and move abilities for each token it has. A figure can
Oh.
have multiple instances of chill. One chill token is removed from a figure at the end of each of their turns. A figure that is immune to immobilize or muddle is also immune to chill.
That's cool. I like it.
That has to be. I'm trying to think. Is that one of the few where you can stack the tokens already that we've ever seen, and then you're only removing one at the end?
Yep.
Yeah, there's no heal removal either.
Oh, there isn't either. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there will be classes that can remove conditions and they would count as conditions. So yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, okay. And I like the fact that it's attack and move. It's just that's a shit condition to have.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is. It's a the I guess question we might have to look up is if you do clear conditions, do you clear all of them? Like have you just got chill and then you've got levels of chill, or have you got chill multiple times? So clearing a condition would clear one.
Oh yeah, true. It probably would do one, I reckon, unless because there's an item in Frosthaven that I've been using that was like remove all conditions or all negative conditions. So I think you would have to specify that to remove all of it. But I could be wrong because it's a stackable condition, so I don't know. Infect. Sorry. It's purple and it has a radioactive symbol on it.
Infect.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say like radiation or something.
Radiation.
Yeah, okay. It's infect.
Oh, damn it. That was my next guess.
Infect is a negative condition. When applied to a figure, it prevents them from being able to gain shield by any means. This condition is only removed if the figure is healed. So there you go. The normal effect of the healing still applies, so it goes through and removes and heals, unlike poison. If the figure has infect and any condition that prevents healing, both are removed by a heal, but the figure's current hit point value is unchanged. Oh, okay. And in any condition that prevents healing. So if they're infected and poison, you remove both, but still not done that. A figure that is immune to poison is also immune to infect.
So does that one say that they can't gain shield or they lose all their shield?
They can't gain shield.
Okay, so anything that has innate shield, which I guess is only monsters, because they would still keep their shield, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or maybe like characters that play persistence that give you one shield just permanently, like the one shield and then has some negative condition on it.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether or not if it's got innate shield, it's actually gaining it every round, or if it's, I mean, I guess it's the word innate, and whether or not it's just stapled to their forehead as opposed to they every round go up, here we go, and bring it out again. So
yeah, interesting. That's a cool one as well. I mean, if it's only applying to us, I suppose there's monsters that do shield abilities. So like chucking it on like, those things that go early and do 5 shield, and then you'd be like, oh, turns out that's 0.
Like imps.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
If you can go before them. Now, the next two you might be familiar with. One of them is a pink diamond with a hand.
Regen.
So regen is actually a positive condition that was introduced in Forgotten Circles, and I've never played Forgotten Circles. So I think we had this chat about Crimson Scales had these symbols. Oh, where did Frosthaven get them from? Did they get them from... No, I think it was more the other way around. As in, Regenerate came from Forgotten Circles, which then obviously is quite old now.
What's Forgotten Circles?
Gloomhaven, the original expansion.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. I don't think we played that. Well, actually, no. I know I did some stuff on digital, so I can't remember. I know we did Jaws of the Lion, but I don't know if they did release Forgotten Circles on the digital.
I think they might have. I don't know, but
maybe now.
They've got. I think Forgotten Circles from memory had maybe 15 or 20 scenarios and an extra class. It just had one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What was the class?
I don't know if there's a keyword or a.
What's the symbol? Anyway, it's irrelevant. Talk about it later.
Or something.
But okay, cool. So regen, yeah, sweet. All right, so regen's in it. That's good.
So regen's the same. Regen's the same as what we know. At least it looks that way anyway. The other one is ward. So this was the keyword I actually found when I was reading the rulebook. It says ward is a positive condition introduced in Frosthaven. So I think with the original Frosthaven, like in plan for ages and revised rulebooks that were coming out during the build of it, it was kind of like this is a condition that is coming. So therefore, the developers at Crimson Scales probably were like, oh, well, we know what it is, we know how to implement it, so we'll just implement it before Frosthaven, maybe.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, having regen is good as well if there is that extra the infect, like having more ways of being able to heal is good. Because like,
Yes.
and if you gain infect without taking damage, you're going to keep your regen, or that's stuff like that. So that's good.
Wards exactly the same. Upgraded conditions. So upgraded conditions are conditions with an enhanced effect, denoted by a numeral value following the condition icon. So a figure cannot have multiple instances of an upgraded condition with either the same or different numerical values. It only keeps the condition with a higher value. So there are two negative upgraded conditions that are applicable in this expansion. One of them is Poison X. So when applied to a figure, instead of +1 attack, it causes all attacks against them to gain +X attack.
Wow. I see.
So a figure with Poison X is considered to have poison, following the same rules for effects of healing and immunities. So yeah, that's interesting. Pretty gross.
Yeah.
And then Wound X is the same. So when applied to a figure, instead of 1 damage, it causes the figure to suffer X damage at the start of their turn. Yeah, double wounds. So what are your thoughts on the X and the X?
No, that sounds cool. It sounds like a way of scaling poison and wound and stuff like that with the game, but also, I guess, player abilities. Because that's one of the things, like, that at the start, when things have 10 HP, wound is really great, poison's really great. But as things have like 30 HP, I mean, you kind of get more benefit out of poison because you've got to hit them multiple times. So you're getting that +1 again and again and again. But the wound doesn't get any better. So wound kind of drops off a little bit in regards to how useful it is. It's still a good thing to have, but having it scale maybe does help your ability to keep some of those abilities relevant. So
something I'm just considering now is because we've got, I don't know. Oh no, the stat cards will be the same actually for the monsters. I'm expecting a lot more immunities to these things, and it's going to be something, Poison X and Wound X. I don't think we're going to be using it as well. This is pure speculation on enemies as to what we will be dealing with it on ourselves.
That's also true. Yeah,
I just think it's going to be way worse for us.
Yeah. True. It sounds like a boss style ability, or like some of these upgraded monsters, or yeah. But I mean, look, I think there's a chance that there are classes or a class that uses some of these that upgrades the ability, because like the fact that it's calling out, like if they have wound, it might be if they have wound, turn it into wound 2 or wound +1. So it might go to wound 2, wound 3, wound 4, or poison that way, so that there is some kind of benefit to doing it. But yeah, you're right. It's probably more going to be us copying it.
Yes, easily.
So, but I know also from a conditions perspective, the chill one sounds really cool. Like I like that idea. A little bit finicky because you're going to have to remember to make sure to remove it every round and add it in every time you get it, which is a bit different to other kind of things, although other ones drop off, so it's not really that different. But yeah, that sounds like a cool one to play with.
So not a condition, but a new ability is called Swing. So when any figure performs a swing, X, there's a symbol for swing that looks like a recycle symbol, kind of. Either as a standalone ability or as an effect applied to an ability, they will swing their target up to X hexes. A figure can only target enemies with swing unless otherwise specified. So each individual movement of a swing must move the target in one direction spatially at the same distance from the starting figure. In other words, the 6 hexes around you. Clockwise or anti-clockwise.
Okay.
So it's basically a push or a pull, but around you.
Maneuver. Okay. That's really interesting.
Yep. So if there are no valid hexes for the target to enter, the swing stops. Targets can be swinged through their allies, but not through their enemies.
Not swung?
No, it says swinged.
Okay.
Their enemies, obstacles, objectives, or walls. Rules for flying figures are still applied. If a target is swinged into a hex containing a trap, the trap is sprung, and the target suffers its effects. Swing movement is unaffected by difficult terrain. When a character performs a swing, they decide how far and in what direction the target is swinged. Counterclockwise, counterclockwise. Any target of the ability or effect must be in line of sight of the figure using the ability or effect, and any figure immune to force movement is immune to swing.
That's really cool. I like that.
I thought you would. That's the one I was like, wow. I knew those times that we're like, we can't move it further or away, and the trap's here, so that means I got to push it further away and pull it in or whatever. No, just Go all Zangief on them, right?
Just swing them, yeah. No, it's a cool addition because it feels that that gap between controlling the battlefield in a way, right? Like some of the characters in Frosthaven have the ability to move allies around, and very few of them have the ability to move monsters around. But you're right; it's usually in a push or pull manner. It's very rarely just move them wherever you want them to go. Except there are a couple of examples where it's like they move one, right? But this is a cool way for a non-controlly character potentially, like so a melee heavy character, to have the ability to kind of maneuver people around a little bit. Also thinking about, someone blocks a door,
Yeah.
right? So if you've got a character with this, you can kind of pull them out of the way, so other people can get through, things like that. Whereas it normally they might just get stuck. So yeah, it's cool.
It's gonna be good when it's used against us as well. Like you're
Oh, it's
hiding in
gonna
the
be
corner or you're hiding against a wall, and all of a sudden they're like swing 3, and then they move you basically to the opposite side of them, which is also where their mates are. And then their mates are like, "Thanks, that's much easier. Thank you for swinging that guy."
Well, interesting. There's just no rules in what you read out about monster AI with swing, because push and pull is always like it has to be further away, and then you can choose. But this is swing 1 or 2. I guess you get to choose, right? Because if it's swing 1, swing 2, you get to pick the direction you go.
Depends. If it's not here, I have a feeling that we're going to see some new ability cards that are going to have the word swing 2 clockwise or something like that on it. Or there might be something. I haven't seen anything in the rulebook yet because it's actually quite short. So it may say more on the people that are doing it. Same thing with our cards. I think that our cards will have... I think we can choose the direction, but it'll have a number.
More info.
Enemy. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We'll
That's awesome. I'm excited about that. Swinging people around.
Yes. Another thing that they've added is persistent abilities. So when you play a persistent currently right now in front of you, you've got your circles, and the only thing you really see on them is Drifter, for example, in Frosthaven, allows you to move your tokens back, right? As a unique thing for persistence. I'm trying to think of non-spoiler classes from that do that. What they've done now is they've added new types of symbols in the circles. So when your token leaves it, for example, the example I have right now shows he puts a persistent down, he puts his circle over it. Once it's triggered, it moves off. And the symbol that he's now revealed is a heal self 1, as an example. So as it's progressing, it's a heal self 1. Then it's an XP for the next move. Then there could be, that's the only example I have, but they could be introducing a whole bunch of other things. Like once this token moves off, you get ward. Once you move this token past this, you get a negative condition, like a poison.
Okay.
But yeah, so they've just added little tiny things in the persistence that will further make things a little bit different.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. That sounds pretty easy to track as well. But that's that's another cool little addition to have more things going on without needing to print more shit on, like, more cards.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. The next bit will be just for setup, right? So to start, the expansion uses its own city and road event deck, so we don't have to use the one from Gloomhaven or the one from Frosthaven. There's no mate coming along with us to scenarios that we know of.
Yeah.
Who knows? We may get the toddler version. And then, yeah, for setup, we got that. We use the shop from Gloomhaven, but I believe that there are going to be items from Crimson Scales, and it's similar to Prosperity. All of that should be fairly familiar. But right now, we're not adding any of the new items to by the Crimson Scale icon to the city supply. So it sounds like we're going to have a very Gloomhaven start from an item point of view.
Okay.
And then you reset your reputation and prosperity to 0. Reset. It sounds like, you're going to play this multiple times. For the campaign.
Well, I mean, they're probably assuming if people are going to play in Gloomhaven and then coming into this, that you don't start at Prosperity or 9, right? They're like, no, this is, you have to start back at 0.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I forget that you can go from Gloomhaven into this.
Oh, most people would, right? They would have played Gloomhaven once or maybe twice, and then this came out, and they would have got it and going like, oh, we can jam it into Gloomhaven, but they're like, no, you have to start again.
Yeah. It does say note, use any other gameplay components from Gloomhaven not included in Crimson Scales. Example, battle goals to play the game. So,
okay.
Yeah. Do we use the Gloomhaven ones? Do we use the Frosthaven ones? Do we use the Amdo ones?
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, not too sure what's going on
Yeah,
there.
okay, cool. It might be good to get a feel from the community on that one of like, the Frosthaven ones just better than what the Gloomhaven ones were?
I
Because I
think
know the
so.
Gloomhaven ones were they varied between simple and like I don't know, not great.
Mm. And we can do the Dang version, where the character keeps the ones that they completed.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
That's what we spoke when we had our chats with Dang. So you get your 3. Yeah, you choose which one you want to complete. You complete it, and now it sits with the character, and it's just not in the pool. So we take them out of the pool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they keep them on the character. When the character retires, they go back in.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's a little cheeky house rule for anyone who wants to spice things up a little bit. Envelope B can be immediately opened. I'm not too sure what that is, but I have a feeling it's the Sanctuary of the Great Oak from Gloomhaven. Boosting your prosperity. The initial prosperity you gain from opening the envelope is not added to the starting prosperity. So when you donate 10 gold to the Sanctuary, okay, instead of adding 2 blessed attack modifier cards to your attack modifier deck, the player draws 2 cards from the new Oak's Gift attack modifier deck, and you get 1 from each deck, right? And you add them to your individual deck for the next scenario. There are 4 pairs of cards in each deck, and each pair has a unique effect. The decks are categorized by if the card is a rolling modifier card or a ×2. So now, for example, when you're drawing from these, you get your ×2 as a bless, which is the standard one we're used to. But the only other example here I have is you can get a bless that's a +1, heal 1 within range 2, rolling modifier. That's a bless, which could be really cool. So it sounds like there's a couple of new blesses that you can have that aren't just the ×2, which could be something you'd lean into more if you're a support or something like that. It doesn't hit very hard.
Yep, that's cool.
And that is basically all the changes. And then it basically just goes, hey, pick your party kind of thing. Is that something you wanted to talk about now?
Yeah, well, I know you mentioned that to me briefly that we have to pick our starter party, but not like in pick our characters we want to be out of a group like you would in Gloomhaven or Frosthaven. We actually have to kind of pick a selection.
That's right. So we've got starting groups. So all the classes are broken up into starting groups just for the start altogether, and you're selecting one group depending on your group's choice. And then ultimately, once you've picked a group, you then assign those characters to each player, and then all the other characters become locked characters, which is a very unique concept, which is very cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of like the idea that we're going to start the game different to other people playing it is cool, because some characters that people started with, we might start with locked. So I guess the way we were thinking about this was having people kind of throw their 2 cents into how we should go about it. So, yeah, like get people to potentially vote on which starter group we should have, and then that's selected. We amongst ourselves will select our class. I think we were talking about doing this. We did this pretty well through Frosthaven, and by keeping it spoiler free. We don't know anything about Crimson Scales, so I would like to choose my class, and I think you do too, purely based on what the symbols are.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if we can get Mark and Phil in on this as well, of like this, just go in blind and hope that it's good. Just to have maximum discoverability, right? Like it's just, it adds that extra level. So yeah, if you're going to, we'll probably put a poll up.
We'll put a poll up.
Put a poll up and get you to vote. Please, as normal, just refrain from like, hey, this is really good and it's the best, right? Or something like that. Like just vote and pick the one you think we should start with. If you want to troll us, that's fine. Just vote. If you think that you're going to help us, then that's great. Also, we don't care. We just want you to vote and get like the community kind of push in a direction. And yeah, then from there we can select our classes for when we're good to go.
Love it. I love it.
The other thing as well with this is I'm going to paint the minis, and so I want to know which 4 we're starting with, because I'll paint those ones first. So yeah, this is the other reason I want to know this.
100%. So yes, they're the changes. I'm very, very excited actually to go back into this. It feels like a nice fresh adventure. We'll put the poll out maybe shortly after this video goes up, and yeah, we'll see what group we'll get, and then we'll divvy up amongst ourselves with the symbols that we still have. Yeah. potion and whirlpool and washing machine.
And ladder guy.
Ladder axe fireman guy.
Yeah.
I hope that's the best. Anyway, we will end it there. So yeah, thanks for coming along, guys, and I hope you're as excited as I am for Crimson Scales.
I'm times 2 excited.
Times 2 excited. Times 2 excited. I hit a pause button for some reason by accident. I fat fingered the screen. Anyway, yeah, see ya. Bye.